What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Mindset Cafe podcast. It's your boy, Devin Gonzalez, and today we got two special guests. We got Demi Smith and Jamey Kroesen. Jamey is the owner and founder of the Church of Jamey, which is an MMA school and fitness center. And then Demi, we actually met because she works with SEO and a company, Height, and a lot of business development. So I wanted to bring them on today because their mindset development and personal development is a little bit different than the normal. And, I really thought that their journey would definitely help you guys. So before we get started, if you guys could give us a little bit background on your guys' self individually and then how you guys met.
Well, yeah. Hey, Devin, thanks for having us on. My name's Demi Smith. I am actually the director of client success at a digital marketing agency. So I met Devin through helping out with his website and helping out with some of his ongoing marketing. But yeah, I've been in this space now for about 3 years, worked my way up pretty quickly. And, it's been a great experience. I've done a lot through it and I've learned a lot and met a lot of new people, including Jamey. So I'll let you go ahead and introduce yourself.
My name is Jamey Kroesen. I run a gym in South St. Louis called The Church. A lot of kickboxers, boxers, just people trying to get in shape. And I've been doing it for a pretty long time. Kind of went down this path from like competing, and it ended up just falling into place and right place, right time. And definitely found my place in this. I've been training more than half of my life. Like my pops played for the Cleveland Browns, and so it's always been like just sports and just training has always been a big part of my life. And ended up just getting into the coaching role, and it just kind of like took off and been pretty much busy ever since. So yeah, it's been a pretty cool journey for sure.
That's awesome. How was it growing up with a professional athlete as a father?
Dude, it was cool. It was cool. Like my mom danced and he did football, and they kind of got a wild story in their own. But it was it was hard on me. He was always pretty hard on me, but it was like he gave me tough love at the right time for sure. Time and place for sure.
Did he try to push you to go to the football route?
Yeah, very much so. Like that was pretty much like my whole childhood was like football. That's pretty much all he wanted me to do was play football, and yeah, I pretty much did that all the way up till about high school, and then started playing music, and that kind of took a total turn, like just as far as what I was doing. I ended up doing pretty good with that. I was playing like death metal and like hardcore music, and we ended up signing to this label Artist Collective in Chicago, and we traveled a lot. I did that for years, and it ended up kind of finding myself back into like the fitness world again. And this time it really took off. Like the second time I did it, I really found myself. Like it was the first time. Like growing up, I feel like my dad was kind of like, he was kind of guiding me, a lot, like as far as the football thing goes. And so like that was the first time I was on my own, and I kind of like made my own decision to like get back into like, the sports world, like combat sports and stuff. And kind of ended up running with that, did really well with that, and just started coaching, and pretty much took off from there.
Was there any like tough talks or any talks where you had to tell your dad like, look, I don't want to do football. Football is not me, and had to have that realization within yourself that you had to go your own path?
Yeah, like it was funny because it was like, I still loved football, but it was just at the time, like I was definitely finding myself investing a lot more of my energy into the music, and it just made me feel something that the football didn't, So at the time I was just like, I was young. I was kind of just following my heart, and just and at the time it told me to go that route, and I definitely don't regret it because it led me to where I am today. Like I don't even know if I would be doing the church without music, just because the people I met and just the way that I built myself up, and like having to be like a front man in a band, like the things I got out of it, I feel like it really led me to like being in like a leadership role, So
Okay.
like, yeah, it was good. It was good for sure.
And Demi, did you grow up, with sports and stuff yourself? Or were you always athletic?
Yeah, absolutely. I was a gymnast. So I was a gymnast majority of my life up until high school. And then I got to high school and I switched to cheerleading just for the social aspect. Started doing that for a long time. And then into college kind of fell off that path. I've always worked full time. So it came to the point of either cheering and doing gymnastics or having the ability to have a job. We both grew up very similar, very traditional. So, old school, save money, bought my own car, needed to kind of move out of that and do my own thing. And ever since then, I was working full time while I was in college. So I miss it, but being with Jamey, being a part of the church, it brings back a lot of similarities between what I was doing in gymnastics, what I was doing on cheer. It's helped me do okay at kickboxing.
She's picking it up for
I'm
sure.
not going to say I'm the best. I'm never allowed to fight, but it's been fun, and it keeps me active, and I love being a part of the community. So I can't complain.
No, that's awesome. How did you guys meet?
So we met through, honestly, it was through my marketing. So I do a lot of personal branding. I do a lot of stuff, online. I'm sure I spam you all the time. You're on my social media, just like posting and putting myself out there. And he was doing a lot of the similar things. So we had a lot in common in terms of just like mindset. He had actually reached out to me one day to kind of bounce some ideas off me for his brand, for the church, just kind of touch base on a few things that he could be doing. He had seen some of my posts. And then from there, we really just ended up bonding over, again, like our traditional backgrounds, working very hard, kind of being, on our own and established at a very young age. And we just worked really well together. It was one of those things that we kind of took off. We both work our butts off every single day. We understand what it's like to be in a relationship with someone else that's busy and motivated. And I think that was one of the things that we always struggled in, and especially like why we weren't in relationships for a long time was because it's very hard to find someone that understands the mindset and, just again, the schedule of someone that has to keep up with a business or keep active in their role or is trying to grow in their career.
Oh, that's awesome. Jamey, what led you to, and how did the church open? Like, what was your role before that? Why did you decide to open the church?
So it's actually kind of a funny story. It actually it started, like, the whole thing fell into place like very organically. I never even tried to do it, right? So like I was training and like competing, and so like I'd have friends that would like come to me like, hey, like, you're doing some pretty cool shit, like can you help me lose some weight or this or that, or I just want to learn how to defend myself. So I would already be training all day, so I'd be like, yeah, just come kick it. I'm literally at the gym all day long. This is what I'm doing now. So like I would bring these guys under my wing, and they'd lose weight, and I'd teach them how to teach them some stuff, and eventually it just took off to the point where like I had like 5 or 6 people that I'd helped lose like over 200 pounds, and like really, really big transformations over the course of like 2 or 3 years. And then it was just like, it just took off, dude. It was like, it was just booming. Like, it was like people were hitting me up left and right. And I'm just like, oh my God, I didn't even like, this isn't even anything I tried to do. So starting out, I ended up just like renting my buddy's garage, right? I was like, all right, I need a place. I was getting cold. I was like training people outside, like in the summer. And like, I had like probably 15, 20 clients, and I'm just training them outside. Like, I just have a trunk full of equipment. And so I got a garage. I made it about as cool as you could make a garage, and we outgrew it fast, so then we ended up getting a different garage that was bigger, like a double-sized garage, and then grew out of that. And then it was pretty much like, all right, like, we need a building. So now we ended up, we pretty much just dove in. We were like, I had another buddy who's like an entrepreneur friend who was kind of helping me, giving me some like guidance as far as like opening the spot and just like some of the legal stuff that goes into it, And dude, we found this just big old spot in South City, and we just dove for it, We just went in and pretty much opened the doors, and it's just been like popping ever since, dude. It's like, just, yeah, man. It's like
you have so many clients.
It's been wild, yeah. It's been like, the growth has been great. It's like new clients every single week. And it's definitely got like a different vibe from your normal like striking gym. It's very much like a community, like very much everybody's like, it's like a big family, like for real. It really is just like a big old family and shit, man. Everybody's there for the same reason, so it's pretty cool.
That's awesome. I mean, we definitely have a very, very similar start, doing the training outside, renting space, upgrading spaces. And then how long have you guys been open? When did you guys open your doors?
It's been about a year and a half. About a year and a half is since we got like brick and mortar. Yeah.
Nice. And so how is it, Demi, how is it dating? I mean, I know your schedule, you kind of have a similar schedule, but how is it dating an entrepreneur? This is one of those things where I know my wife could probably relate as well, but it's not the average job, from the stresses to the hours to everything,
I will say, like, I think we do really well. That's one thing I can say. And I think we just respect each other's professions so much. He knows what I do is a little more conventional. I'm working all day. I'm 8 to 5. I'm busy. There's a lot of stuff going on, but he's also like, it's long days. He has Mondays are his weekend day, which I'm usually working. Yeah. So he doesn't get home most nights until like closer to 7:30. So we do have to work with that schedule a lot, and it can be difficult. But one of the biggest things that we try to be intentional about is, especially with the fight community, he's doing so much with these people. He has so many events and he has so many things that I can be there to support him in. Yeah. So it's like, if I have days that I can work from the gym, we make that work. I'll bring my laptop, I'll go work up there for the day. If there's events on the weekends, if there's fights, like there's pretty much no time unless I'm traveling for work that I won't be there to support him in the gym. Yeah. And the biggest thing is, like, it can be difficult. And I think for, obviously, just like with your wife, for the wrong person, it would never work out. But for someone that really sees the vision and someone that's like, we want to grow this together, we want to be there for each other to lean on, we understand that this is hustle phase right now. We're working through this. Yeah, we're working through this so that he can grow in and grow out of the business. And like we talked about this even in our last convention, Devin, growing out of the business and getting out of the day-to-day. And that's one of the things that, we know that goal's there and we're working towards it. So where it can be difficult, we understand it's temporary and it's only going to get better, and we're going to see it grow and we're going to see it do the best that it can.
Yeah.
No, definitely. And I think that, this is definitely something that we talked about too. Yeah. People start their own business. And Jamey, since like you started just like how I started, you didn't have the mindset going into it like most people becoming an entrepreneur, where I want to be my own boss so I can set my own hours. A lot of people don't realize that becoming your own boss means there is no, weekends, there is no holidays sometimes. Like
people will like start this. It's like they think they'll work less, and it's like, no. Like it's all day long. It's even on my off days, like I don't really have off days, like I may not be in the gym, but I'm still like working I'm still doing stuff all day long.
Exactly. And your phone is pretty much your connection to, the business. So even on your off day, your phone rings. It's not like, oh, sorry, I'm off, call me tomorrow. Exactly. It's, you have to answer, right?
Exactly.
100%. I will attest to that too. Always.
Yeah. Like it was my wife.
Trainers, like I said, we talked about that. You guys are more than trainers. People are putting everything in you, and I see it every day. And you were telling me about it too. The last time that we saw each other, it's like, you don't just have clients. You have people that are looking to you for advice, and you have people that are trusting you, and, they're working with you in their most vulnerable state. Yeah. And that's what we always talk about, is like how, again, you said that like your wife probably feels the same, how you can manage that with your personal time and the business time and getting out of it at some point, hopefully, or building up off that.
Yeah.
No, it's something, no, definitely. And that's something that, it's good that you got, or Demi, that you see it as well, because it's being the entrepreneur and being in the day-to-day. It's like, there are stresses of trying to grow it and stuff. And the outside, from your friends and your family, they're not always going to see it the same way as you two. Right.
Right.
And you can't really explain it to them because they're not in the thick of it. And like you being a part of it, just like, my wife is, a part of mine as well. You definitely see the stresses, you see the growth, you see the pain points and everything all in combination. So it allows you to have that understanding. And it's more of the focus and the mindset of having the vision of the growth versus where you are right now,
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. The light at the end of the sure.
Exactly. And it's one of those things where, you start off, starting a business and you pretty much work for the business. The business is running you. But as it starts to grow, then, you're running the business, and then the business runs itself. And that's, the goal as, an entrepreneur. How is your guys' family and your guys' friends, with your guys' work schedule and stuff? Do you get those comments, or do you guys get that, outside pressure?
You want to go first?
It's hard, right? It's hard. I mean, I'm 24, so I'm really at that beginning phase of, like I said, I've been very successful in my career. I'm building up. I'm growing very fast, and I'm very thankful for that. And it's taken a lot of hard work, but I'm definitely at that phase in my life now where, I wasn't really anticipating being in a relationship at this time. I was really going to focus. So this kind of came organically as well. And juggling, family and friends, it's so hard when, I'm sure you get it, like you're exhausted at the end of the day or the weekends, whenever we only have one true day to spend together. It's like we want to spend that time together and really keep up. So I think it's hard. I think we do a good job at it. Sometimes we overcommit, like we have a lot of people that both of us have a relatively large social group. So it's like if we're not in one area, we're in the other area and we're trying to bounce around. But I would say for the most part, our families really respect us. Our friends really look up to us because I would say that we have a very healthy relationship. We have a healthy dynamic, and it kind of, it radiates to people. So they look up to us and they want us to talk to them about advice, and they want us to talk to them, about what they can do to have that similar dynamic. So I would say we balance it really well, but it can be overwhelming and it can be tiring. And we just, at sometimes we just have to say no, or we just have to kind of keep it to limit it to what we can do. But I don't know if you want to touch on that too.
Yeah, it's like my parents, they're like the same. They're the same exact way as me. Like they're the busiest people ever. Like, and they're older, so like but they're also like, they're in the church quite often too. So like my dad, he likes to come in and work with some of my fighters. He has awesome. Like really good strength and conditioning stuff. He's got like real old school bag workouts, like George Foreman style bag workouts. Like that's pretty much what I grew up with, So like, we always had a heavy bag. So he like taught me boxing growing up, but never competed when I was a kid while I was doing football. But like, so he'll come in and he'll like work with some of my fighters and stuff. Everybody loves him. He's just like this old school Italian dude, like just got all the secrets, But yeah, it's awesome. Good. They're really supportive. They're very supportive of it. Like they really like what I'm doing, Like I said, I started this just to like really to help people, It wasn't even for the longest time. I didn't even make money doing it. It was just like I wanted to show people that like, hey, you can do this too, and it really genuinely does make you very happy and fulfilled. Like anybody can do this. This is not. There's no secret to it. Like you can really just go and do this, and it works and for everybody. Like it's not like a. It's a one size fits all kind of thing, It's like, so like, yeah, that's just kind of like getting people on that path and showing them like, for me, it was getting people just to see a little bit of progress. Like if they can see a little bit of progress, it's like they're addicted, they're addicted. And then their whole life changes from there, So like, yeah.
No, that's awesome. I mean, and as a trainer, like one of the most rewarding things is it's not always the financial, it's that smile, or that when they're walking in and they're all pumped to show you the results, and like that's their energy and their pride in it gives us the reason why we do the long days and the
exactly
we put ourselves through the ringer for it. So as Demi, this one's more towards you, looking at Jamey, right? I know my wife and my outside influences have said something similar, but do you notice, is there different masks that Jamey has to wear, or different personalities that he'll almost have to put on to fit the business owner role, the coach role, and then, just his normal, personality like with you when you guys are out and about?
Absolutely. Of course there is, right? So whenever he's coaching a class, I don't mess with Jamey. I don't talk during my class. I don't goof off. And that's part of respect too. Like he's there to do a job. I'm not there to interrupt. I'm there to participate and help him out if need be. So yeah, of course, there's Coach Jamey who's and he's loud and he is aggressive and he pushes people to their limits, but that's why people love him. He's not afraid to hold back. Yeah. He wears a ton of different hats, right? Like I was saying, like it's almost like there's a therapist side to him because there's people that will call him or people that will message him when they need life advice. Yeah. whenever they need to talk to him about, if he has privates and they're confiding in him, there's people that want to see that side of him as well. So he's very vulnerable with his clients as well. He's very, intuitive. He listens to them. And I hear some of those conversations. Like I see how he talks to people. I see how he takes time out of his personal schedule at night. So yeah, he's very much an empath as well. And then I just get the funnest side and the goofy side. And, I think I get the best side. Like, I think, again, it's like, I get the not so serious, we're very big on trying to keep as much work and personal life separate when we have our time. And I think that's one of the things that makes it work so well.
Yeah.
We find ourselves sometimes at the end of the day, just like talking. Here's how my day went. It was so stressful. It was so crazy. Or I did this, I did that. Yeah. In my case, it's like, oh, I sold this. I got these new clients. And in Jamey's case, it's like, oh, I had all these people at my 5 p.m. class. So whenever we catch ourselves doing that, we're like, yes, we'll like touch on it for 30 minutes, 40 minutes. And then we try to turn it off. And
sometimes 2 hours.
Sometimes much longer.
We'll look at the clock like, oh my God, we got to go to bed now.
We're getting better at it. But
we just talked about work until we got to sleep.
So definitely many different sides. And I'm sure you guys feel that too. It is hard to turn it off. And also when you're so proud of what you do, sometimes you just don't want to turn it off. But yeah, I would say there's many, many different sides to Jamey. He's very good at managing them. And like I said, I'm thankful that we can be communicative and we know what we need for each other versus what we need at the gym or what I need at work and so on. Signals.
Yeah, blink twice.
Blink twice and we need to shut up.
No, you guys are good. Honestly, like your guys' relationship and stuff and your guys' like journey and everything, it's crazy because it's so similar to like mine and my wife's as well. So it's cool to someone else that's going through it, right? So
I love it.
Huge.
With that, Jamey, what have you noticed? How we just talked about, Demi's view of you and your different components. How do you see that different mindset? Because it really is a mindset of putting yourself as a coach, then putting yourself having to switch as a business owner, and then coming home and being with Demi. It definitely has to have a different perspective than who you're talking to, right? Or that therapist side. So
absolutely.
How do you feel like when you're talking to, or how do you switch from those different perspectives?
So for me, I feel like that's been a really big part of what's kind of separated me from like a lot of trainers, at least just based off what I hear from a lot of my clients, right? It's like, I'm very good at catering things to fit for that particular person, right? Depending on if it's maybe like more vocalized motivation or more aggressively physical motivation, right? Like there's two sides to it all, so I just try to find what side works best for that person. And I think that kind of translates into the whole just being in the right mindset for each situation, right? Whether it's with Demi or whether it's in a coaching scenario. I mean, there's a lot of times like I train fighters. So there's a lot of times where I have to be, kind of hard on these guys. It's not always, it wouldn't be the same as like if I was just training someone for weight loss, right? It's a little bit different. I have to be a little bit harder on these guys, but they need it. It's what they need it to stay disciplined. Some of these guys, they need that kick in the ass, so like, just knowing what works for that person, I feel like is huge, but it's also helped me find that balance in like being in a coaching setting, whether it's like being more motivating or being more like, hey, yo, come on, let's go. Like, whether they need that tough love, so like, yeah, I think that helped me kind of identify that, and be able to come home here. She actually really helped me with the home life. Cause when I'd get off work, I'd come back home and I'd just be like, I'm still at work, so like she helped me find balance and like shutting that off, like when I get home. And, so yeah, I mean, I would probably thank her for that one for sure. It's helped a lot, but I think just being in those situations and just having those experiences and just kind of just playing off of the way that it went and just like, it's never perfect, right? It's never perfect, but it's always better than last time, So I think at this point, I feel very confident with where I am at those situations and identifying those the way that I need to be in those situations, No,
definitely. And I mean, I don't know about yourself, but for me, like talking to each client and, learning to learning their problems and the way I need to coach them, it kind of develops. It's almost a skill that develops over time, because not every
Exactly.
2 clients is going to be the same, right?
Exactly. And that's exactly it. It's like, it's not, I feel like there's definitely people who are more natural at it, but I don't think it's anything you can get overnight. I think that's one of those things. That's like why you talk to some of those guys that are 70, 80 years old and they're sharp, man. It's because they have those experiences, they've done it so many times. They've been there so many times, so it's like, they're just it's like anything else. With experience comes knowledge, and it's like just doing it over and over, just the repetitions, it's like, it's a lot easier, it makes it in anything you do, experience, is definitely gold. So I think just gaining that experience as you go and just being able to like really, take it in and be a sponge, I think that's huge for sure.
Oh, that's awesome. And so you guys do, obviously, you the MMA and the striking, the rolling and everything at the church.
Yeah.
But, I did see you guys went on a trip with one of your guys' fighters. So you guys do like competitive, a competitive aspect as well. Can you go into that a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we're traveling all over the place. Pretty much, we haven't, as a church, we haven't left the country yet, but we get around quite a bit, or mostly like Midwest and stuff. But it's it's been popping off. My buddy Shane, one of my fighters, Shane, he's a pro fighter. He fought Sean Wilson in Nebraska, Omaha. Yeah, I think it was about 2 weekends ago. And Sean Wilson, I mean, he's
tough fight.
70 pro fights. He's fought like Drew Dober, who's in the UFC, Justin Lawrence. I mean, he's got the better like 10 BKFC fights. Badass fighter. Shane Moffitt, one of the bigger known guys in St. Louis in the pros. He's been probably fighting 15 years. Absolute badass dude for sure. It was a good time, good fight. It was tough. Exactly what we expected going up there. But yeah, man, it was great. It's just the whole experience of traveling. Like a lot of people don't like to travel. I love traveling. So like,
how many competitive fighters are in the gym?
I would say there's probably around 20 to 25. Yeah.
And there's a lot of local events as well. So there's a few local series here in St. Louis that we bounce around to.
Yeah, there's a couple different promotions like in St. Louis. Ameristar, they do a lot more like the casinos. And then stand-up fight series, they're going to be like probably your top promotion for striking. Like they're pretty much, they got the best strikers coming in from all over the place in the United States. And my guy Pat, he's fighting for the USA title November 11th. So that's a big one for sure. He wins that. He's the number one guy in the United States at 165. So it's pretty exciting.
That's awesome. And then Demi, when you guys go on that trip, what are you just there for support? Are you there to, give pep talks to the fighters too? What do you?
Yeah, I'm typically there for support. This last fight in Omaha, I actually got to corner.
Yeah.
So I got to be there with Shane. I got to stand on the corner of the ring and kind of help him. I just held the water and did all.
I was like, just put ice on his back.
Ice and water. I'm not certified, of course. Like it's nothing that I've jumped in and got my license for, but. No, I'm there with them. I typically get VIP access to go hang out with them in the back room and just make sure everyone's good, make sure that they have everything they need. But yeah, I mean, I love to watch all the fights. They typically have multiple fighters on every card.
Yeah, we have.
So I'm always bouncing in and out of the back rooms and then going to watch the fights. But no, I love attending, and
it's a good time.
Maybe one day, I'll get my corner's license and you'll see me out there.
She'd be always trying to
yelling in the corner, hit him.
She's like, oh, just let me get in there one time.
He won't let me do it.
No, I don't. Well, because for me, I'm like, I know how invested I get in like these guys in the gym, and like coaching these guys is harder than going out there and fighting for me personally, right? Like you get so invested. I'm with these guys for 8 weeks every day, 5 days a week. I'm with these guys, like I see them all the time. I see the work they're putting in, I see the good days, I see the bad days. And then you go up there and it's like, in under 10 minutes, all this 8 weeks of work gets shown, so it's like, and it's rough, you got your guys break bones, guys get knocked out, I mean, it's a rough sport, so like, for me, I know how I feel walking in with these, some of these guys that I'm really close to, but for her, it's like, I'm just like, no way. Like, like no way. I couldn't, I would like have a heart attack. I think, I don't know. Like, I'm just like, I don't know. I don't think I think my nerves would just be so shot. Like, Just
Do
I
you
won't do it.
do you spar in the gym and everything, Demi, or is that still no?
I've only sparred once, and I don't even know if you can count it. I just do the group classes most of the time.
yeah.
I am looked at as, because I'll work from the gym. Like
She
I said,
spars me all the time. She's always we'll be trying to watch a movie. She's like, "Come on, let's wrestle." I'm like, "Are we
I'm
watching?"
practicing. I'm like the, I don't know. I'm kind of like the bench warmer. So like I'll work from the gym, and if we have a group class at 5 p.m. and it's uneven, then Jamie's like, "All right, Demi, I need you to partner with this person." So I'm kind of just like, if there's an even number, I'm not going to interrupt the class. If there's an odd number, then I get thrown into it. But no, I think I could do it if I really committed to it, but I'm too busy to be there every day. And he doesn't have any classes that fit my schedule. Like he's between 8 to 5. 9 to 5.
8 to 8 now.
8 to, oh yeah, well that's
8 to 9 now.
But you don't coach those.
No, I don't coach those.
So
And it's different. I mean, and it's different. Like Jamie, I know because like, I mean, I had a professional client, professional boxer client, and with her, it's different than teaching your everyday class as well.
Oh yeah.
And fighters, even though, I mean, not every fighter is like this, but fighters on the outside, they seem super tough, like they're indestructible. But some of them, they need more attention, and it's a whole different mindset coaching them as well, right?
A lot, My bad.
No,
yeah, a lot of these fighters are like some of the most emotional people I've ever met. So like, yeah, just like you said, yeah, it's like a lot of them. You think they're like these like super cold, numb people. It's like, no, dude, like these are like very like emotional people. These are people that probably feel more than most people, if anything. But that's the whole thing, is like, because of that, they have that outlet to be able to let it out, and that's why they do so well in combat sports, because having like that like the way that I've been taught is all energy is good energy if you know how to use it, right? Like whether you're sad, you're happy, you're angry, you're anxious, whatever it is, like if you know how to harness that energy, it's fuel, right? Like, and if you have a goal and you know where you're going and you're able to harness that energy, it's just going to get you going forward, right? Whether I'm pissed off, if I'm mad and I go to the gym, I'm going to get a good workout because I'm pissed. If I'm happy and I go to the gym, I'm going to get a good workout because I'm stoked. Whatever it is, you get broken up with, you're sad, go kill it at the gym, right? Like whatever it is, and it's like, I feel like being able to like harness that energy, is like, huge for sure.
No, definitely. And it's one of those things where as a coach too, you have to almost, even knowing what they're going through, and it sucks cutting a weight, it sucks doing all those things, but while you want to like give them the sympathy, sometimes like these fighters as well, you have to be even harder on them, because you're like, look, this is your fucking job. Like, show up, do the work. I know it sucks, but it is what it is, and people don't realize how much work and how much emotion goes into even just cutting something as simple as cutting weight, right?
Dude, hardest part. And that's one thing that I would definitely pride myself in, as far as, coaching fighters and stuff, is like, we are always on weight, dude. Like I have a guy, Kevin, he cut like 24 pounds in a day, and he's a big guy, but like, we're talking a lot of weight. Some of these guys cut a lot of weight, so like, yeah, it's, but we've never had anyone miss weight. Like, I mean, 100 fights, we've never had anybody miss weight. It's been like pretty immaculate in that sense. We always show up. None of my guys are pulling out unless they got a fucking doctor's note, and all my guys are making weight, and we're all showing up, and we're leaving it out there, whether we get knocked out or the rep's going to have to step in at the bare minimum. Like, none of my guys are quitting out there. I know that for sure.
Did you ever did you ever fight or, amateur or pro or anything yourself?
Yeah. So I did. I kickboxed and I boxed, and I didn't get to have as an extensive career into the pros as I would wanted to. But a lot of that came just from the transition from me fighting a lot to like coaching. Like I ended up like, and that was at the point it was turning into a thing where it was like, this is going to be paying my bills. I didn't even know I could do this for a living. So seeing that was like, damn, like it kind of took a lot more of my focus, as far as wanting to fight and compete. And it kind of put it more into wanting to open a gym and train people. And that's kind of how I got to where I am now, So it's like, I haven't shut that door yet, so like I'm still what I would like to say young. She doesn't say that, but I like to think I'm still pretty young. She gives me shit. 31 years old. I'm not. I have no damage. I've never taken any damage in any of my fights. For real, like I've broken ribs, but those are healed. And like so like I'm good. Like I feel like I got a lot more in the tank. Just right now, being a year and a half into opening the business, it's just a lot right now. Like I couldn't imagine like the thought of even getting into a fight camp right now is kind of like it's kind of unrealistic just with how busy I am. Just trying to get these wheels going, But yeah, man, eventually I'd like to get the gym to a point where it's just a smooth running machine and I can kind of step out and do more of like business, try to really just push the brand, push the business, and just have the gym kind of run itself and obviously still be involved, but be able to focus on other things outside of being like the main trainer in the gym and, that sort of thing. So being in that position now, though, it's it's a very selfless position, like it's like, you're giving a lot more than you're getting, in a coaching role. I mean, obviously I'm getting stuff back as far as like seeing my clients kill it and stuff, but I wouldn't be in a position right now to feel confident going in there and fighting like a high level guy, like I'd need to actually be able to do a camp and
I think it's pretty solid that you have had that background as well, because it allows you to put yourself in the shoes of the fighter. Coaches that haven't fought themselves or cut weight themselves, like on paper, it's easy, but the mindset and the mentality behind it is completely different.
Oh, dude, it's so hard. It's so hard, and the fighting isn't even the hardest part, right? Like that's. I think the fighting is probably the easiest part. Realistically, like it's even the walk to the cage and just waiting. The second the fight starts, it seems like it's like that's whenever everything's like, okay, we're good,
Mm-hmm.
But the walk up to it, the cutting weight, the real brutal weeks of fight camp, like that shit sucks, and it really does. I mean, it's rough. Like you really have to love this sport to compete in it and to compete honestly in it. Because there's a lot of people that compete, but there's not a lot of people that compete how they should, right? You have people that will work out here and there, take fights, whatever. It's not like in a sport like this, I think it's one of those that you should take very, very seriously because like it's a dangerous sport. Like you can seriously get hurt out there, right? Like it's not something that should be taken lightly. So I feel like there is a lot of people that do take it lightly and kind of just go, they want more of the name. Like, oh, I fight, I've done this, I've done that. But it's like, if you're not really doing everything that it entails to be like a legitimate combat sports athlete, like you're not doing it right. You're not getting the lessons that you should be. You're not getting the experience that you should be. Every camp should be like, you should feel like you did every single thing you could, every single thing you could. And
I think that goes with like a lot of things in life. A lot of people want to say that they're a MMA fighter or a boxer, or they just do the classes, and they might have a local fight once, and then it goes into being trainers as well. Everyone and their mom says that they're a personal trainer and a fitness coach, right? And it goes into you own a business, or you own, you train one client. You say you have a business, and you're a business owner. And even like Demi, I know you see a lot of people that, say that they're SEO specialists and all these kind of things. It's really important to like really connect and really know who you're talking with, and it's just in a world of a bunch of, fakes. It's something, especially with MMA, like if you're saying you're an MMA fighter, you also got to be careful too, because you never know who you're talking to on the other end of that. Right.
Exactly. Yeah. And usually the ones that do like they're not even going to talk about it. They're just going to let you figure it out. They're not, I'm not out like me and Herbie. I'm not out here like screaming at people that I run a fight gym or anything. And if I get in any type of like, situation or something, like I'm quiet about that shit. I'm like, if you know, like if it's one thing, if I'm pushing my business or my brand, but like, I'm not out here trying to be like, oh, I'm this fight coach. I'm this guy. I got all these fighters. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I don't, that's not, I don't do it for the look. I don't do it for the, it's like, I do it because I love it. I do it because the people that are involved with it made me really want to do it, And I don't know if I had a different crowd, maybe it'd be a little different, right? But everybody that I'm involved with right now in the church, it's all people that need it. It's all people that have been through a lot of rough shit in their life, and like they found it, and just seeing what that could do for somebody is like, it's everything, It's everything.
That's awesome.
For sure.
I want to go into that one question, I have for both of you guys. Demi, we'll start off with you. If you could, what's the best piece of advice, or what's the one advice if you could leave, on this earth for everyone to remember, what would it be?
I think, so my favorite quote that I always live by, and I was thinking about this whenever you had said that, and I think it pertains to all of us, honestly, me being in sales, you guys being coaches, is people don't remember what you say, they remember how you made them feel. And I know that that's one of the things that we all have to do every single day, is like, people aren't trusting me in my position. They're not trusting you guys in your authority because of what you're telling them you can do and what you're telling them what you have done. It's because you're showing them how you feel about them and you're making a difference. So that's the biggest. I always stand by that. I do it every single day. And I think that pertains to all of us in this sense.
That's awesome. And Jamey, what about you?
Yeah. For me, I guess if I were to just be 100% transparent, just as far as like me and my past, I would say 100% go for that thing that makes you feel alive, and just put everything into it, right? Everything into it, whether it's you have your good days, your bad days. If you really love it enough and you want to do it, you absolutely can, right? Like whatever it is, maybe it takes 6 months, 2 years, 3 years, whatever it is, but like, just fucking go for it, right? That's for me, like that's kind of always been my thing, is just go for it and don't half-ass anything, right? Like if you're going to go for it, and especially if you're going to do something a little unorthodox, something that may be a little harder than just going to get like a 9 to 5, right? Like go, no, not, well, you're but yeah, I don't mean it like that. Her 9 to 5 is different. Her 9 to 5 is different. You're building your own personal thing. You're building your own personal thing as well. I just mean in the sense of being like, I want to go be a professional fighter and actually make a living doing it. You can do it,
right?
But you have to absolutely go for it, and you have to stay super consistent with whatever you do. I think consistency is going to be your biggest thing. So I'd say, yeah, just going for that thing that makes you feel alive and staying consistent every single day. Making sure every single day, at the end of the day, you could ask yourself, could I have done more? Mm-hmm. Right? That question of, could I have done more? And I feel like if you could say no to that question at the end of every single day, it is inevitable that you will get to wherever you want to go in life. No doubt about it.
No, that's awesome. And if people want to follow you guys or the church, where should they, or reach out to you guys, where should they reach out to you guys on?
I'll let you go first.
No, you go ahead. Mine's just
so for me, it's going to be at the Church of Jamey, Jamey, and then my personal is just at Jamey Kroesen, Jamey Kroesen. Would love to stay in touch with y'all, and yeah, for sure.
Definitely. And then I'll put your guys' stuff in the show notes as well. But, I definitely recommend, you guys following the church. I've been following them, and it's definitely cool to see the growth. And I look forward to seeing it continue to grow. And, I just want to thank you guys so much for taking the time to hop on today.
Likewise, man. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, this is great.
We'll definitely connect soon.
Definitely, man.
Good.
See you, buddy.
Bye.